Okay. So are we working? Good, yes. Yes, we are working. Right. So hello everybody. Welcome to this video. I thought I'd do a quick tutorial video on how I base my miniatures with this for my Chaos Army. So I've had a lot of compliments and comments on how people like the basing that I've done for these miniatures, and it is really simple and easy to do. So I thought I'd do a quick tutorial for anybody that wants to watch it and just learn this this method that I have, and can apply it to pretty much any war game. So Age of Sigmar, 40k, Hordes, Warmachine, and so on. So this example here is obviously my one of my Chaos Knights that I've just finished painting, and so I'm going to go through a basic the preliminary stage of what we're going to need and the materials that you're going to require for this also. So to start with, you're going to need something to put your glue on, your PVA your glue. So plastic party plates are really good for this because you can just chuck them away when you don't need them and use them for other things. So we're going to need something to put the glue on, and this wood glue is what I use for basing my minis. This is a huge tub of it for a couple of dollars. If you're in the States, a couple of euros. If you're in the UK, a pound, £2 at the most. If you're in England, a bag of, this is the main stuff that you're going to need. I mean, I use a bag. You can use any kind of container, any kind of tub that you have. And this is just a mix of sand and gravel. The sand I stole from my brother, because he works at he's got a bag of it in the garage because he works building houses and stuff on work sites. So he had a bag of sand, and I just grabbed a few handfuls of it for that, and some gravel from out in one of the back streets here, because they're like old gravelly roads. So I just mixed them together and got a bag of sand and gravel, which is what we're going to use to base our miniature. If you buy from GW, they will charge you ridiculous amounts for sand when you can get it from a lot of places. I guess like Home Depots and things where you can other hobby stores will charge a lot for sand when there's a lot of places you can get it from. And this is one of them. Hey Wazoo, how's it going? And this is what I use for the snow flock. I picked this up. This was fairly expensive, at €5 for a pot of this. Although this has worked, this has lasted me all my armies on my about what 4,000 points of chaos now, and I still have about half a tub left. So it goes a long way. And to finish off with the kind of shrubbery type thing, I found this in the Chinese bazaar, and it is, oh my god, did you just donate $20? Wow. Thank you so much, Wazoo. I did not, I don't know what to say. Thank you so much. Man, you're so generous. Uh, It really took me off guard there with that. Yeah, welcome to the stream. I'm just doing a quick tutorial of how I base some of my miniatures. So yeah, I got this from a Chinese bazaar. I don't know what you'd call them in other places. Here in Spain, they're called bazaars, and it's a store where you can get all kinds of things. They're usually really cheap. I guess they're kind of like dollar stores in the UK, not in America, and in the UK it's kind of like a pound shop where you can pick things up. And this is what I use as like a shrubbery. Just came across it and thought this would go ideally. There's only €2.5 for a bag full of this. Again, this is easily fill whole armies. So next stage. To apply the glue, we just need some kind of cheap brush or whatever. I use a cheap brush that I don't use for anything special. So we're going to go ahead and start. Do this nice and quickly. Don't need to worry about putting too much glue on the plate, but we don't need a lot. So there we go. Glue where it needs to be. So I'm going to base one of my Kyrie acolytes. Love these miniatures. They're pretty garbage in the game, but they look amazing. So here we go. Just use the brush to smush it on, spread it around. Right now we don't have to be too careful with it because we can remove any excess with our fingers if we need to. I'm going over some of the toes and a bit of the feet, but that's just, again, I can clean it up if I need to or choose to. But I kind of like the idea that their feet are in the dirt a bit. So there we go. Some of the glue on the base. Now we take a bag of sand and gravel. I'm going to slide our miniature in there, cover the base, and so the base is covered. Get rid of some of that, some of the excess. I'm just going to push down gently onto the sand and the gravel, just to keep it in place and to make it bind with the glue a bit. Once that's done, I'm going to turn it on its side, give it a tap, to get as much of the excess off as possible. And there we have it. Nice looking base, easy to do. Some rocks on there, some sand, and later on when this is dried, I will take a soft brush and brush away the excess sand and dust that's on the base. And once I have a bunch of them done, that's when I will use a spray can to base coat the miniature, which seals in place the sand and the rocks, because I found doing it afterwards, painting it, you find a lot of the sand and a lot of the grit comes off the miniature. So I prefer to do it this way than basing them last, and yeah, sealing them in with the base coat. And it also means you can paint the base sooner, which makes the miniature look a lot better once you have even 2 or 3 coats of colour on the actual miniature. It looks a lot better than just being not based and pretty dull. So I'll grab one more and do another one, since I've got everything ready. And same again. Just use this brush to apply this to the base. And there we go. Now, I don't have any primer on me at the minute. I need to buy another can. But at this point I tend to use the stores, because I don't really end up buying much more models, so I use the hobby stores that they have for free, the gaming stores. There we go, one more time, pushing into the sand and the gravel, gently push down, and I usually do a unit of 10 of these at once, and then prime them all, and then I'll end up painting 5 at a time, because 10 makes me go a bit crazy just doing the same thing for 10 guys, when 5 seems to be the optimum number for me to stop me from going mad and taking forever. And there we go. Even now, just based, it looks 10 times better than when it was just a plain base. So that's pretty much it. So I guess once I usually leave the other parts to last. So once it's primed, I'll go over, like for these, I'll go over with the dark grey. Most of it I will overbrush instead of I'm not going to actually paint the full thing a grey. So I'll take a dark grey, and it's kind of like dry brushing, but without wiping all of the paint off. It's still going to be quite wet, and just going over the tops, over the most of the surface with a dark grey. Then I'll use a lighter grey over the top of that, just to pick out the higher pieces, more detail on the actual rocks themselves. And then I'll paint a white underneath where I apply the snow flock, because I found that without the white it kind of looks like a slush, and you can see the black underneath shows through. So to make it look more like the actual snow, paint white underneath, and then use the wood glue again to apply the snow flock. And then right at the end is when I find spaces on the base to apply the little shrubbery, and finishes, gives it a nice finishing touch. And at the end, when you have them all finished, let's see, put a few down here. And when they all sit together in a unit, they're all nice and uniform and looks pretty sweet. For something that takes only a few minutes to do, basing really helps to basing quickly and easily. It really helps your units look a lot better. I still see a lot of players, maybe it's just here in Spain, but they do all the painting first and you see plain bases, and it kind of makes me cringe. And playing against armies that are just a sea of plastic grey really makes me cringe. I much rather prefer seeing two fully painted armies playing against each other. But yeah, I love these guys. It's just a shame that they're in the current rules, they're not that strong. I miss the days of when people feared my Chaos Knights. Hopefully, with the new book coming soon, that will change. Getting off topic there, but anyway, so that we're going to stop it there. That's all of the tutorial we really need to do. Thank you, Azu. Yes, with these, it's really simple techniques. So like, for example, the weapons is just dry brushing and just very selectively picking out the edges with the dry brush. And it's pretty easy to do, and in fact most of this model is dry brushing. The metal is just dry brushing, so that's just wiping the excess off the brush on a paper towel or something. So put the paint on the brush, you wipe most of it off onto a paper towel, and it leaves like a dry, almost like a dust on the brush, and then you brush it against the armor plates, and so it gives a sort of a worn look. My camera's not very, it's not high definition, so you can't really see the effect it's giving very well. But yeah, I mean, I tend to paint pretty quickly as well. So, but yeah, thanks for coming, Wazoo. It was amazing and unexpected to see you, and thank you so much for the donation. I can't thank you enough. So yeah, until next time, take care and happy wargaming.